Hi there, welcome back to my channel. My name is Caitlin, I am the Flutey Feminist, and each week I consult my Instagram followers to choose a video topic. Now, this week, I really just wanted to talk about musicals, so I didn't give them any options, but I did ask them for topics for future videos, and I didn't get any responses. So please send me your topics that you would like me to cover. You can do so in the comments below of this video. You can also follow me on social media. All the links are in the description box, and you can send me suggestions over there as well. There is so much I want to cover in this video, so we will just jump right in. Musicals have been a really big part of my life forever, basically. My whole family really loves musicals and live theater in general, so it's always been something that has affected my life. My sister is a singer. Hi, Erin, I know you're watching. And she started out her musical journey in musical theater and then transitioned to study opera and classical music. But also my dad co-created a musical theater association for students in the West Island of Montreal, and he's produced a lot of their shows. He even wrote a musical for my 6th grade class, which was really cool. He just put together a story, and the songs he used were from existing musicals. So that was really fun to be a part of. I was not in the musical, but it was a fun process to witness at home. And so my whole family goes to see shows pretty regularly. I haven't been to see one in a while, to be honest, but we've been all over. We've been to places in Ontario and of course on the island of Montreal to see shows. So it's just always been something that has been a part of my life. And lately, the reason I wanted to talk about this now is for some reason I just got back into thinking about musicals, and I started watching these YouTubers. One of them is Amy Lovett and the other person is Catherine Steele. I'll link their channels below. And so I've been watching a lot of their videos and getting back into remembering about all these musicals and how they made me feel and what I thought about them. So I thought I would share with you. When I was in high school, I went to a place called Stratford in Ontario, and they have a Shakespeare festival every year, but basically they also put on a bunch of musicals and other kinds of plays. So it's not just Shakespeare plays, but that's kind of what they specialize in. And so my high school had a trip for 9th, 10th, or 11th graders to go on. So we would go to Stratford. I went 3 times. I went in grade 9, 10, and 11. And we would see 3 different shows each time. And I absolutely loved it. It's kind of like low-key the Broadway of Canada-ish. It's so, so great. I even went once with my family a couple of years after I finished high school because it's just a really, really, really fun little town that has really great shows. So at Stratford, from all the times that I've gone, I've seen West Side Story, which I love. I've seen Jesus Christ Superstar, Chorus Line, As You Like It, A Little Night Music, Macbeth, and the version I saw was with Colm Fiore, which is really interesting. I have a whole story about that, but we'll see if it gets that. I've also seen Evita. I think I've seen Peter Pan. I was trying to remember the shows I saw, and I think I saw it, but I don't have any memory of it. But I'm sure it was good. I've also seen Camelot and Twelfth Night. So those were all when I would go to Stratford in Ontario. It's a couple hours past Toronto. And these were all, as I said, amazing productions. Definitely West Side Story is by far my favorite production that I saw any of the times that I went there. It was so good, and the dancing, for some reason I really remember the quality of the dancing was awesome. So I highly recommend if ever you can make it down there. Also, my family has been in Ontario. We've been to a place called Gananoque, which has, I think, a playhouse. Not sure what they call it, but there, I'm pretty sure. I know we've seen Into the Woods, which was really cool. I'd never seen it before. That was just a couple years ago. And I'm pretty sure we saw Les Mis, but because I know I've seen Les Mis live, but I can't think of where or when. And I definitely didn't see it in Stratford or in Montreal, I think. So I'm just gonna say that I saw Les Mis in Gananoque. I've also seen The Lion King at Place des Arts here in Montreal. And that was after I had been on a trip to Kenya. long story, but it was really, really, really fun to see live. And before I went to Kenya, I actually went to Toronto with my dad because that's where my plane was leaving from, and we saw The Wizard of Oz. So that was also a very nice production. In Montreal, at the Seagull Centre, my sister was in a bunch of shows, a while back. I don't remember all of them. I know she was in Pirates of Penzance and a couple other ones that I forget and could have asked her about, but I forgot to do that. So here we are. And also I have actually seen the play Kim's Convenience with my dad when they were on tour a couple of years ago. That was before I started watching the show, but it was really cool. Not a musical, but still a really good play. In Côte Saint-Luc, which is like a small city kind of on the island of Montreal, they put on musicals as well. They have a really good production. And I've seen The Little Shop of Horrors, and I know I saw something else there, but I can't remember. So we'll just go with Little Shop of Horrors, which I know for sure I saw and which I really, really enjoyed. Also, I forgot that almost probably like 10 years ago now, I went to New York City with my parents to see Pat Benatar because I'm cool like that. And but then we also decided, of course, to see a Broadway show, and at the time we decided to see Promises, Promises. I literally remember nothing from it. It was very good, I'm sure. But Kristen Chenoweth was in it, so that was like a really cool thing. And then afterwards we got her to sign our playbill at stage door, so that was really, really nice. I'm sure I've seen many, many more shows in many other places that obviously, as you can tell, I'm forgetting. But I tried my best. I don't have a great memory for stuff like this, but I've seen many other shows. And the thing was that when I was in high school, when my sister was in high school, she was in the high school musical theater productions there, so I went to see her in those ones as well. I know she was in Bye Bye Birdie and Oklahoma. She was probably in more, but did I do my research? No. But I remember those two very fondly. She did really, really well. I'll never forget those. So then when I was in high school, when I was in, I think grade 9 or 10, grade 10, I decided to try out for the pit orchestra for the School of Musicals because I was not going to be in them, that's for sure. Not a singer, not an actor, definitely not an actor. But obviously I was playing the flute already, and I thought it'd be really fun to be in the orchestra that accompanies the actors on stage. So thankfully I was accepted, and I played in Anything Goes in grade 10, and then in grade 11 I played in The Wizard of Oz, and they were really, really fun shows to play in. Then afterwards, as I mentioned, my dad had a long time ago co-created WISTA, which is the West Island Student Theatre Association, and they put on musicals. And so then I played in their pit orchestra for a few shows. I played in Legally Blonde, which I love, Gypsy, which is a great show, How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying, aka How to Be a White Man, and Thoroughly Modern Millie, which is definitely one of my top 3 favorite shows ever, and I loved playing in the pit orchestra for that. Often my family and I will watch the Tony Awards, though I don't think I've seen the last couple ones, but they're always really fun, and we talk about shows and current events in theater and musicals and stuff like that. So it's just a large part of my life, even though I haven't participated in a musical or gone to see one in a while, but as I mentioned, I'm getting back into it. So basically with musicals, what's funny is that I actually have a love-hate relationship with them. I'll explain what I love first. What I love about musicals is, first and foremost, the music. I think there's great music and songwriting in musicals, and they're always really fun to play in. I personally love the big belty songs, the showstopper songs that people sing. Those are my absolute favorite. I love them. And I, of course, love playing in the pit orchestra. And what's fun about playing in the pit orchestra for a musical is that it really keeps you on your toes. There are, I'm not going to go in depth, but the way the music is written for the musicians, often you have to kind of keep playing something on a loop and wait until an actor says a certain line, and then you kind of move on. So from show to show, things can actually be drastically different for the musicians. And I felt like I was really good at that. I was really perceptive of watching the conductor and like listening and catching when things had to move on, or like we had to skip something or do something because something happened on stage. And so it's live theater is fun in that respect. And I think it's just a really engaging and fun environment. I don't think anyone decides to be in musicals because they don't want to have fun. You know what I mean? It's just something just really engaging. So I love that. Some of the things I strongly dislike. Basically, overall, I find musicals to be really cheesy. I mean, I know everyone does, and I know to some extent they're all kind of supposed to be cheesy as a genre. But like, I'm talking about like cringy cheesy, like extra cheesy. And so sometimes, because I'm a very introverted and quiet person for the most part, it just often makes me feel uncomfortable, and it's just like too much, basically. I find very often in musicals that there's like a lot of overacting, if I do say so myself, which again, I know is basically what sometimes you have to do when you're in a musical, but I just don't love that, as opposed to, for example, just like the TV show genre or movies or any other kind of acting. But also another aspect that I don't love so much is that I find most musicals, at least the older ones, are pretty problematic in terms of like storylines or plots, or especially characters. I find often the characters are very reductive, and there's just so many musicals that when I hear about them, or if I'm in them or watch them, that I just kind of go like, oh god, like this is so problematic. And I feel like as a genre, for the most part, that's what I find problematic stuff in like most musicals. I'm sure that's changing a lot, but it's something that I've never really been able to ignore. For example, in How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying, I honestly I wanted to stop playing in the pit like halfway through the run, because this show is, I hate it. I think the music is awesome, like that's fine. Costumes are really cool. But like the storyline, the characters, and what happens and what people say, I'm so not okay with it. It really like killed me at a certain point to be participating in it. So for example, a show like that, I really hate. But yeah, in general, things are just very extra for me. But yeah, I'm not a theater person, right? So I'm a musician. I like closing my mouth, playing the flute, that sort of thing. So, I mean, I don't like closing my mouth, obviously, because this YouTube channel. But in terms of performing, I'm not an actor or anything. So that's just an aspect of musicals that I just don't feel a part of, which is fine. But that being said, I do always get very emotional when I watch musicals. I literally always cry. And we've already established on this channel, and if you know me as a person, that I'm a crier, so that's normal. But like as I mentioned, I really love those like big belty songs. They make me bawl my eyes out. Truly, like I can never hold it in. I think it's something about the fact that everything's live also that makes me feel more emotional. But anyways, in general, I of course love musicals. I wouldn't be making a video about them if I didn't on some level enjoy them. So in general, yes, I do enjoy them. And one person in particular that I love to follow on social media that is part of the musical world is Carrie Hope Fletcher. I will link to her channel down below. But I have been watching Carrie's YouTube channel for years and years now. Definitely, I think maybe since the end of high school or beginning of when I was in CJEP. It's been many, many years, and I've loved to follow her as a person, but also her journey as a musical theatre artist in the West End in London. She's been in many shows. Right now, she's back again in Les Mis. She's been in Les Mis before as Eponine, and now she's in Les Mis as Fantine. She's been in The Addams Family and Chitty Chitty Bang Bang and Heathers last year and all sorts of fun stuff. So, or maybe the year before, she was in Heathers. Time is flying. But I absolutely adore her. I think she is an amazing person. I don't know her personally, but I love following her, and she kind of keeps me up to date with musical stuff too. And it's just fun to watch her her journey and her vlogs and see what she's up to. So she's a huge part of the reason why I also love the musical theater world, is because she's in it and I love her. And I had a dream recently actually that I went to, or I was just in London trying to make my way to see her in a show using the transit system, and I didn't have money. Anyways, I had a dream recently, and I really hope that one day that dream becomes a reality and I can see her live, because I would die and I would be very happy. Yes, so lately, as I was kind of going down memory lane, as I mentioned, I love those big showstopper belty songs, and I rediscovered or also discovered some songs that I now really, really love. And I was thinking man, these songs are so cool, and these people's voices are so amazing, and on some level I was like, can I do this? Should I just change my life and study musical theater? And then I was like, Bola. But because everyone's always just it's never too late, do what you really want to do. And I was like, I love these songs so much. But then I was also I don't like acting. I don't like acting. I've never acted actually in any production or anything like that. But the times, for whatever reason, that I've tried to act, oh my god, I hate it. I hate that feeling. But anyways, I realized that my real dream, which used to be a conscious thing that I wanted to do, and then I've kind of forgotten about it over time. But honestly, my dream would be to play professionally in a pit orchestra for musicals, either on Broadway or on Stratford or anywhere. But the thing with pit orchestra is that for the woodwind players, you have to double on more than one instrument. So for example, the person who plays flute will also be playing oboe, clarinet, and saxophone, basically. And I don't want to do that. I just want to play flute. Basically, you would have, and the music is written that way, so they'll give you the sheet music, and then for example in one song it'll have the flute, it'll tell you to play flute for a few lines and then to switch to clarinet for a few lines and that sort of thing. When I was in the pit orchestra for high school or the community theater, I just, we were all given the same book, but I just played when it said to play flute, and then the clarinetist just played the clarinet part of the same sheet music. What was nice though for The Wizard of Oz is that there was actually a full-blown flute part, a singular flute part, so that was really nice. But basically I think in all the other shows I've done, it's a combination of instruments, and professionally it would be one person playing those instruments. And I just truly don't want to learn them and buy those instruments and then try and do it professionally. I might still look into it and see if there's any chance anywhere that I could just play flute, but I doubt it. But that would be a dream of mine. Okay, on to some specific musicals, songs, etc. First one is Rent. I really like Rent. I haven't watched it in years. I watched the movie version. I think my family or parents have seen it live, but I have not. The thing is, I love it, but it is so depressing. At least from my recollection. I should probably watch it again now. But I remember years and years ago when I was younger, I think the movie was playing on TV at one point, and I think my sister was watching or someone was watching, and I passed by and I saw that it was Rent, and I was just I can't do this. It was so depressing to me. Even though it's not all depressing, obviously, but the song Seasons of Love wrecks me. I can't listen to it. I instantly cry. That's obviously, as we know here on the Flutey Feminist, I cry a lot. I cry at things very easily. But there are some songs that I just purposely don't want to listen to because of how sad they make me feel. For whatever reason, Seasons of Love makes me feel super fucking sad. I swore on YouTube. It's fine. I'm not making my money right now. Then a song that I really love is On My Own from Les Mis. And it's so funny. My relationship with this song is a long one. I heard it when I was a kid, and it was my favorite song for a very long time. I still really, really love this song. I know in the musical theater world, it's basically a cliche. It's such a popular song, and I mean, a million people have sung it at this point. But I really, really like the lyrics. I mean, I'm not sitting here pining after a man or anything, so I don't identify 100% with the lyrics. But there's one in particular near the beginning where she says, the city goes to bed and I can live inside my head. And for some reason, I like really identify with that. I like, or I mean, I used to do it more as a kid, but kind of making up storylines in my head. Again, not necessarily like because I was like in love with a man who didn't love me back or anything like that. But I think in general, the song, if you take it just more generally, in terms of like unrequited something like love or a dream or something, has always really stuck with me. So whenever I hear it, I get emotional in a different way than for other songs. And then in terms of like movie musicals, I do enjoy them, or like movie versions of stage musicals as well. I have enjoyed them, but it kind of depends. I didn't see the movie version of Les Mis, the like recent one. I haven't seen it. And sometimes me and my sister talk about this because we have mixed feelings about like celebrities singing and acting in musical theater, which is a completely different genre than just being a singer or just being an actor, I find. And often I feel like some celebrities don't have the best voices. So yeah, but one of them that I absolutely love is the Phantom of the Opera. I mean, I love the musical itself, but the movie version, when I was in high school, I got pneumonia at one point, and then I watched this movie. I don't know why. I mean, this has never occurred to me otherwise in my life, but I watched this movie every day for a month. Yeah. My mom and sister had to like conspire to steal the DVD away from me because A, I was gonna like ruin it, and B, I think they were concerned. Which looking back, I was concerned as well. I don't know why that particular one. I don't know. I just loved it. I loved it. I think I still have it. Yep, it's sitting right there. DVD is still with me. Haven't watched it in forever though. I also adore the Rocky Horror Picture Show. That is one of my top favorite movies, but also musicals and productions. I love Rocky Horror so much. I also, of course, I love The Sound of Music. That's a huge classic. And in particular, I love Chicago. That's one of my favorite musicals, and like movie musicals as well. And I also really like Cabaret. Though Cabaret I haven't like seen in a really long time, and I don't like, I barely remember everything that happens in it, but I know that I really like it. But it's also another really depressing one, especially at the end. So I decide to not think about it very much. Once my sister and I went to see Sweeney Todd in theaters, the one with Johnny Depp, and I actually really like Sweeney Todd. Like, I was thinking about it as I was thinking about this video, and I was like, I really like the show Sweeney Todd. I think it's a great musical. Oh, I don't know. I think it's really amazing. I've never seen it live though, but I remember, I mean, it's, you know, pretty dark. So me and my sister came home, and I think for whatever reason my parents weren't home, so it was just me and my sister alone in the house, and we turned on like all the lights because we were just kind of freaked out. Like, we liked the movie, but it was just kind of scary, so that was really funny. And as I mentioned earlier, I've played in the pit orchestra for Thoroughly Modern Millie, and that is definitely one of my favorite shows, of all time. I love it. I mean, I don't think it's perfect, but I love the music. I love almost every single song in it. I used to listen to the soundtrack all the time. I loved playing in it. Unfortunately, with like pit orchestra for the flute part, you never get to play in like the big songs, like the big belty songs or the really showstoppery songs. It's like always a little like just all the other songs. So every time there was like a showstopper song in a musical I've played in, I just had to like sit there, and I mean, it was nice. I was able to like really listen and that sort of thing, but it would have been fun to play in them too. I've never really gotten into Hamilton yet. Don't worry. I've listened to one or two songs, but I want to actually kind of sit down and listen to the soundtrack and everything. But yeah, I just haven't gotten into it yet. Like so many people have, and as well, dear Evan Hansen, haven't quite looked into it. I remember hearing that there's some problematic aspects to the storyline, which I'm sure there is. So that makes me hesitant to like look into it further. But I've heard amazing things about Come From Away. I think my dad and sister have seen it. I don't remember where, but I really would love to see that show. And my sister was in a show, I guess a couple years ago now, where they were singing songs from different musicals, and I was just like crying the whole time. I had to like, oh my god, I had to force myself to like get it together to like see her after and say congratulations and stuff, because like, I was a mess. Shows that I haven't seen that I want to see, either live or otherwise, I don't know. Definitely Heathers seems really cool, especially because Carrie Hope Fletcher was in it in London. I want to see Waitress, partly because also I love Colleen Ballinger, who was in this show for a few weeks last year on Broadway, but it just seems like a great show. I would like to see Mean Girls. I listened to the whole original Broadway cast recording the other day, and I actually really enjoyed it. And of course I'd love to see Hamilton, as I mentioned, and the Addams Family too, I think would be great to see as a show. And performers that I like, there's all sorts of performers that I like, specifically, again, Carrie Hope Fletcher, forever and always. Also Sutton Foster, icon. Patti LuPone, of course. Idina Menzel, I really like her voice. I love Kristen Chenoweth as well. And then, you know, obviously like Judy Garland and Julie Andrews and all of those wonderful, beautiful singers. Basically, give me a good voice and I'll love them. I don't remember male voices as much. They're great. There's so many great male singers, of course. They don't just come to mind. But recently I've also heard really good things about Eva Noblezada, so I would love to see her live. I've seen a couple of videos on YouTube and like, wow, she has a voice. And it's great. And of course Lea Salonga is like an amazing singer. I just haven't listened to her as much in my life. But yeah. And I thought I would share with you what is currently on my musical theater playlist on Apple Music, which is what I use on my phone to listen to music. So right now, I have She Used to Be Mine from Waitress, and it's the Jessie Muller version. Beautiful. I have Dead Girl Walking from Heathers, the Carrie Hope Fletcher version, because, yeah, I love Carrie Hope Fletcher. Got it. I have Take Me or Leave Me from Rent with Idina Menzel and Tracy Toms. I have On My Own from Les Mis, the Carrie Hope Fletcher version. Yes, I love Carrie Hope Fletcher. I also have Maybe This Time from Cabaret, which is one of my favorite songs ever. The Liza Minnelli version, which is like, I don't have words. It is perfect. And then finally I have Gimme Gimme from Thoroughly Modern Millie, the Sutton Foster version. I love her voice. Previously, I mean, I'm the type of person to basically listen to songs I like on repeat, like obsessively, and then I'll have to take them off my phone because I've heard them too many times. But I can't stop myself. Like, I can't pace myself in terms of what I listen to. I just listen to things on like repetitively, and then I go, oh gosh, I'm sick of this, and I take it off. So previously, songs that have just had to been taken off because I've listened to them too much are Pulled from the Addams Family, Carrie Hope Fletcher. Yeah. There's All That Jazz, which I love, from Chicago. The Catherine Zeta-Jones movie version. I have Cell Block Tango from Chicago as well, the movie. I had a bunch of Rocky Horror songs from the original movie, and also Easy Street from Annie. I forget who was singing in it, but anyways, it's a great, I think it's a really fun song. I will stop here. I have covered a lot, I think. There's probably a million things that I wanted to add that I'll remember after. But thank you so much for watching this video. I hope it was mildly interesting. Hope you learned something, or maybe you'll research musicals or look into the ones I mentioned. But of course, I would absolutely love to know what you think in the comments below. What are your favorite musicals? What are your least favorite musicals? Which performers do you love? Which shows have you seen? All of that. I would love to know any of the thoughts you have about musicals in the comments below. But please make sure to like and share this video, and please subscribe to my channel for more content. You can do so by clicking the subscribe button down below. You can can also check out my flute performance channel, which is right over here, and my latest video is right up there. So thank you so much for watching, and have a Flutey Feminist day. Bye!